Hi, my name is Nacho, welcome back to our channel. And by now, it is common knowledge that the Fallout show on Amazon is so good that the vast majority of Halo fans have been put on suicide watch just after the first episode ended. And after binging the whole thing in under 3 days for the first time in a long time, I got so few little things I didn't like about it that, as the good YouTuber that I am, I'm gonna sandwich them in between the things I did like so I can milk you for as much retention as I can. So let's get into it. First of all, the most obvious thing that makes this show incredible is the soundtrack. Orange Colored Sky by Nat King Cole, All Over Again by Johnny Cash, Crawl Out Through the Fallout by Sheldon Allman, Don't Fence Me In by Bing Crosby and the Andrews Sisters, It's a Man by Betty Hudson, I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire by the Inkspots. And that's only the first 2 episodes. I was audibly singing with the pitch of a baboon in my hotel room whilst watching this. Before you ask, it was the Surf Life Saving National Championships here in Australia, so I was staying upstate. Your boy got some medals. And each episode had one or more of these absolute bangers that just took me back to every playthrough I made of Fallout that had Galaxy News, Mojave Music or Diamond City Radio playing in the background while I mowed down innocent powder gangers with mini nukes. And the way these songs were interwoven with everything that was happening in the show made some scenes like the raided attack on Vault 33 so much cooler every time I recognized one of them. So that was an easy plus right off the bat. Next, let's look at the world building. After spending days watching and refreshing my mind in every aspect of the Fallout lore, seeing game items pop up on the screen constantly, from little things like projectors and TVs with all that classic retro aesthetic, to the steam pack, the jet inhalers, the 10mm pistols, the syringer, the ripper, which is the chainsaw knife Lucy uses to cut the doctor's head off. I was constantly in a state of being Leonardo DiCaprio in that one meme where he goes, whoop,
here I come, oh, here I come, whoop, here I come, oh, here I come, whoop. Here I come, oh, here I come, oh.
The term fan service has been giving a negative connotation, mainly due to animes that feature women with ridiculously large breasts that can sometimes move at the speed of sound.
My favorite.
By the way, this show also has tits, so that's another plus. And about the speed of sound thing, it's true. Someone actually did the math for that one scene in High School of the Dead. But back to Fallout. I was truly satisfied with the level of practical detail that was put into the show. Everything looks exactly like the game or how I imagined it would. From things that could have been easily CGI but were actually built, like the vault doors and their opening mechanisms, the T-60 power armors, the Mr. Handy robots, even the stuff that was obviously CGI like the Shady Sands nuke crater and the Pritwin are so well done that they never made me break my immersion, which meant that I was following the story as if it was just another extension of the games. Until the de-aging of Kyle MacLachlan near the end. That was pretty bad. So this show goes above and beyond in its fan service in the best possible way, which I really like because it feels like it was made for the people who love the game, which is why I like the focus they put on showcasing the real enemy of the story, those dirty fucking commies. I'm just kidding. The real enemy are the corporations. If you ever played any Fallout, you'll know that the real villain behind everything has always been Big Corpo, and that also felt very rewarding as a fan. And coming from a string of live-action shows that took way too much creative liberties in some parts, this level of respect for the lore felt surprisingly refreshing, especially coming from Bethesda. Have you called your Halo friend yet? I think he needs a call.
Oh no, I've gathered. Hilarious.
The next thing that really stood out for me was Lucy. Ella Purnell and her big, bring us the precious green eyes made me love her character. Before I actually saw the show, I was a bit worried that the overly sweet attitude and the long, polite monologues were gonna drag on a bit, but they end up fitting so well with the world build that the more I got into the show, the more it made sense that Lucy would be very naive to the Wasteland's ways. But she's quickly put into life-threatening situations, which she still approaches with a positive attitude and her cute little catchphrases.
Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Okie dokie.
How she toughens up with each episode after surviving multiple dangerous encounters, all the way from leaving the vault to the final episode where she learns the truth about her dad. And what I really like regarding that is that it was all foreshadowed by the Ghoul, when he says that he is basically her. She just gotta give it a little bit more time. Ella apparently paid a lot of respect to the source material, even playing some of the games in preparation for her role, which is unheard of unless your name is Henry Cavill and you basically memorized the Witcher books, which in turn made him the best Geralt we could possibly ask for. And how was he wasted? So I love that she had that attitude towards it, and her performance went perfect with the dark humorous tone that the franchise is known for. Speaking of dark humor, all Fallouts are known for their dark satire, with the later games being a little bit more humorous and silly.
They asked me how well I understood theoretical physics. I said I had a theoretical degree in physics.
They said welcome aboard.
I love how the show fully embraces this and gives great moments of comedic relief without saturating every second of it with stupid one-liners Marvel style, like the finger exchange between Lucy and the Ghoul. Gory, but kinda funny.
No, I don't need therapy.
They do go hard on the incest joke very early on, which would have made a lot more sense if the vault was set in Alabama.
After 10 years of cousin stuff, I'm definitely excited for the real thing.
And every character I feel added a little bit to it, which was great because it gave Vault 33 a sense of fullness and purpose. Like the mustache guy who felt super bad about voting for Betty, but still went out of his way to tell the other runner-ups that he did.
I just feel that in times of crisis, you need someone with experience.
Hey, it's your vote.
And Betty's already been overseer once. I'm gonna vote for Betty.
I got that impression.
But where the writing truly shined was during the dramatic moments, and I felt this was done the best during Norm's storyline. What I thought was gonna be just another wimpy male character turned out to be one of the most interesting characters in the whole thing, and this is just another example how flexible a Fallout story can be. Norm is not strong, probably has no perception or agility stats, and he's aware of it, calling himself a chicken when Lucy leaves the vault. But he has the brains, the charisma, he's curious and smart. He figures out the secret of Vault 31 after hacking into the Overseer's terminal, which had the OG cracking minigame. Very nice touch. That alone makes him a viable and potentially useful character in the universe. He has obvious disadvantages, but they are balanced by very useful skills. And now that Season 2 was announced, I can't wait to see what happened with his end of the story. On the other end, and here's that middle part of the sandwich I spoke about earlier, the one thing I really didn't like was the depiction of the Brotherhood of Steel, especially the character of Maximus, who's probably the only character I thought was being carried by the rest. He had some cool moments here and there, like when he lets that asshole Titus die, but fuck me does he overdo it with the dumbness.
You wanna have sex?
You mean use my cock?
Yeah.
Say yes! I found it extremely irritating how Maximus lost twice while wearing one of the most powerful power armors in the game to dudes not wearing power armor. I can understand the Ghoul beating him because he's been around for 200 years, but Thaddeus?
You wanna make my cock explode now? Sorry? Intercourse?
And when it comes to the rest of the Brotherhood, I feel they were presented in a rather simplistic way, reduced to a simple satire of an abusive military body, with little grunts acting in a very high schoolish way, beating Maximus up because it was his turn to take the shed, later explained by Thaddeus, very meat-grindy approach to battle where they simply throw enough bodies into the problem until we win. The hoarding of technology was acknowledged but reduced to, let's get this toaster oven away from the normal people so they don't pop-tart themselves into another apocalypse. And the Knights, who are meant to be the epitome of what a Brotherhood of Steel soldier can strive for, are douchebags who treat their subordinates like replaceable shits, which I guess if you play it like that, casting Michael Rappaport as one of them actually makes a lot of sense.
You know, this whole crap with this cancel culture and the... Shut up! Shit! Shut the fuck up!
Copy that. We'll get you a replacement squire.
No, I'm okay. It's not a problem. We got plenty of squires.
Sure, keep that attitude. It's not like you live in a post-apocalyptic wasteland where human recruitment has its limitations. So to me, the Brotherhood of Steel, who are meant to be this cool underground faction who rebelled against the government to end up pursuing this borderline cultish mission of saving humanity from itself, end up being a dumbed-down version of the beginning of Full Metal Jacket. And yes, I did notice a trans actor that was definitely a very hot chick before she decided to take a bunch of steroids and grow that prepubescent mustache, playing the most effeminate dude ever, named Dane. But because she plays a minor role and the rest of the show is pretty decent, in the words of Frieza, I'll ignore that. Now that I've touched on the lows, let me talk about the absolute highs, and the character that completely steals the whole show. Of course I'm talking about Walton Goggins, Hooper Howard, aka the Ghoul. Holy shit, was I enthralled with his story all the way from the start. The flashback from before the bombs dropped, how his wife became more and more involved with Voltec's plans. His quest to find his family for 200 years, he's lived the worst of what the wasteland can offer, which made him ruthless and brutal. He has some of the coldest scenes, like shooting up Philly with the kill cams. Again, nice touch. Or how he kills the farmer's kid after taunting him with his brother's death so he doesn't come after him later. He's a definition of a wasteland survivalist. Walton is an incredible actor, so having him as the inspiration for the Bolt Boy, literally the face of the company that allegedly brought down the world, is so impactful, especially seeing how that affects his relationship with his wife and his whole life. How he deals with this world falling down this corporate spiral that eventually ends with the bombs dropping, and that twist at the end. Boy, I had chills just watching his reactions to the literal and metaphorical bombs that were dropping in front of him. Fallout was basically everything I wanted from a live-action adaptation. A new story with some fresh faces tied very closely to the lore, to the point that it would be very easy to consider this another DLC of the games. With close enough attention to details like the food, the chems, the factions, the characters, the creatures. The fact that Vault-Tec would have appointed this obnoxious guy called Bud to be a robo-brain running a breeding plant for the managers of the company inside the vaults for over 200 years fits so well with Fallout. I can almost imagine Todd Howard saying, "How did we not think of this for the games when the writers pitched the idea to him?" Speaking of Todd Howard, the big debate that exploded on Twitter over this show retconning New Vegas as a fuck you from Bethesda being mad at Obsidian for making a game that till this day is considered one of the better Fallouts was quickly addressed, saying that the show doesn't retcon New Vegas and that the bombs that destroy Shady Sands fell afterwards, meaning New Vegas remains canon. What's interesting though is that Lucy's dad fleeing to the strip to meet one of the people that's moving the strings could mean that Mr. House is still alive, making his questline, The House Always Win, the true ending of New Vegas, with him getting a hold of the Platinum Chip, taking control of his robot army and becoming the new ruler of the Mojave, pushing all the factions out. Maybe he was the one that helped Hank drop the bombs on Shady Sands. But that's just me letting my imagination run wild. This show ended and got all my lore juices flowing, thinking what could come next. Hopefully, now that Season 2 has been officially confirmed, we'll get to know what happens with the various open endings, and who knows, maybe we'll finally get to see a Deathclaw after that little tease at the end. Fallout was brilliant, given the best kind of fan service and sticking so close to the source material that it made me think on more than one occasion that I was just back inside one of the games. It's so good in fact that it not only boosts the sales and player counts of all the games, I believe it successfully raised the bar for what an adaptation can and should be. And all future TV projects will have to take what Fallout did as a blueprint if they truly want the support of the gaming community. Hopefully Nolan doesn't fuck it up like he did with Westworld. But if you watched this far into the video, leave us a like. Check out this video next if you want to know everything you'll need to become a Fallout expert. Let me know in the comments down below, what did you think about the show? Thank you to my supporters over at Coffee who have incredible taste. And as always, I've been Nacho. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.